So good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you to the May 7th, 2024 meeting of the Calvert County Board of Commissioners. At this time, I'd like to ask Pastor Aguilado if he would give us an invocation, please.
I invite you to join with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come this morning seeking your presence and leading of our county commissioners. These are challenging days in which you have set them apart to lead us. They are confronted with community and world issues that require a depth of wisdom often beyond our human capacities, and we live in a world consumed with the things that divide us. In the midst of all this, God, we give you thanks for our commissioners and the public servants you have graciously given our community of Calvert County. We thank you for their patient persistence in working to meet the needs of our community and lead us through all the ups and downs of life. We know, Lord, that we will never please everyone and everything we do in life, but our prayer is that the decisions made here would please you. Continue to lead our commissioners to pursue the things that bring us together, the things that serve the good of all our community, the things you would have us pursue. As our commissioners take up the items on their agenda this morning, lead their discussions and decisions, and I pray you would give them the wisdom of Solomon and the humility and compassion of Jesus by which to lead us. May you be honored in all they do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everybody. I want to welcome you all. We're at a different time schedule today. We had a lot of stuff on the schedule today, and we had to meet early to get things done so we can get on the road. At this time, I'd want to ask if there are any additions or corrections to the agenda.
I have none.
Motion?
Motion to approve and adopt the budget as submitted.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda as submitted. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So I haven't been given any public service announcements. I guess it's too early in the morning to do public service announcements.
I gave you that this morning. I'm so
did?
sorry.
Somebody stole them. So, just want to remind everybody that early voting continues. The primary election takes place on Tuesday, May the 14th. You can go in and register and vote. If you're not already registered, you can do that until Thursday, May 9th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at 3 locations. The Community Resources Building on Duke Street here in Prince Frederick, the Southern Community Center in Lusby, and the Ward Farm Park Voting Center in Dunkirk. So please get out and vote. Also today, we have to be at the fairgrounds at 11 o'clock because it's Employee Service Recognition Awards today, and we'll be recognizing more than 150 county employees who have reached service milestones ranging from 5 years to 35 years. And, community service, what our employees do is very demanding job at times, and we greatly appreciate all they do for the citizens of Calvert County, and this is our one opportunity to say thank you to all of our employees. Also, this is Business Appreciation Week. There are lots of scheduled events this week. We'll be out touring around our local businesses to congratulate them and thank them for the services they provide to our community. And also, not on my list, but I heard on the television yesterday, it's National Teachers Appreciation Week. So I want to take this time to thank all of our teachers for the service that they provide. Teaching is one of those things that can be very rewarding and also very frustrating at the same time. And we want to thank all of our teachers for what they do for our students. That concludes my public service announcements for today. And that brings us into new business. First item of new business, the County Administrator, Student Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee. Deputy County Administrator, Mr. Sheriff. Good morning.
Good morning.
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 Good morning, Mr.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Turner, Deputy County Administrator. Me.
Sheriff Cox, good morning.
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 Assistant Sheriff Payne, thank you.
Morning.
This morning, we're presenting to you the Calvert County Student Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee. A little background. There have been incidents in our public schools that have elicited fear and concern from parents, students, teachers, our school support staff, and our school administrators. Despite this, few, if any, incidents are reported. We find more transparent reporting of the happenings inside our primary and secondary institutions of learning on social media, the sidelines of sporting events, the aisles of our grocery stores, and the sidewalks of our streets. There are teachers and administrators that have suffered physical assault within our public schools. There are students who are trying to prepare for their future and deserve to look back on their school years, memories, whether pleasant or those they've been mown, but should not look back with anxiety for the fear they currently are enduring. We owe our students the integrity to say we do not necessarily know how to best address the situation in which we now find ourselves, but we will not stand by and do nothing. For discussion, we expect our students to give their best effort. We owe our students our best effort. A working group of diverse individuals can help to create and maintain a safe and secure school climate and culture for our staff and students. In consultation with our sheriff, we wish to establish a county student safety and well-being advisory committee. The purpose of this committee is to make recommendations intending to enhance the learning environment and improve school culture and climate. The committee must consider the latest school safety best practices and make recommendations that position our county's learning environment to be ahead of new threats, concerns, and safety mandates. The superintendent is welcome to join this committee with us in hearing the best advice, as it will be through his leadership that measures can be implemented, can be effective, and can give our students opportunities to let their light shine. Our recommendation is to allow the staff requests the board's recommendation to approve creation of an ad hoc committee, and we're naming it Calvert County Student Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee, which the members will potentially include, but are not limited to, representatives from the Sheriff's Office, the Board of County Commissioners and Calvert County Government, the Calvert County Public Schools, faith-based and nonprofit organizations, to name a few. This committee will focus on data from multiple sources in order to develop its recommendations for you, the Board of County Commissioners. It is our hope to present a members list to the board for your consideration and approval, and with a timeline of recommendations for your consideration. And I'll turn it over to Sheriff Cox.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Linda, for the words. And thank you for allowing us to be here and putting our heads together, because I think we all up here hear the concerns. I watched a meeting from the Board of Ed, again, from April 11th. And again, I take it personal. I mean, that's my school. That's where I graduated from. I have friends in that school. And just hearing the comments made, I think that it takes all of us to get that school back on track. And I think this is the first step on doing that. And hearing the teachers are in fear of going to the classroom, hearing some of the students, saying that they can't go to the bathroom because of what happens in there, it's concerning. And I think that this board made of multiple people in our community, hearing the truth, and we can, again, put our heads together and make our school system better. And I think that's the goal of this committee. And hearing the drug use in schools, hearing you hear words like arson, drug dealing, violence. I mean, if that's really happening in our school system, me as a sheriff, again, I take it personal. When a citizen from Dunkirk said that they felt that they couldn't get a gallon of milk because they were in fear up there, me as the sheriff, I put a district station up there. And that thing's gonna grow, and that's for me being committed to my community. And again, hearing these concerns, I'm committed to the staff, I'm committed to the students, and I'm also committed to our bus drivers, because I think we forget about them too as well. There's a lot of violence that occurs on our buses, and our bus drivers do a lot. They're asked to do a lot, and I'm supporting them as well. Me moving forward, Youth Advisory Committee, I'm putting that together this summer. Me as the sheriff, I can do it after school, in school, but it's gonna be a group of students within our school system that I can hear and be better in tune and better in touch with moving forward within our community too as well. It's also my goal to have a deputy in every school. When I got elected, I put 3 in myself without funding. And again, this school year, I'm going to put 2 more in there. And I think that leaves me 6 short, and we'll have them all the way from the elementary school level all the way to the high school level. And that is my goal, to have a deputy in there. Just not to have a deputy in there, but make it, I mean, just this morning, we did a Chuck welfare for a kid going to school. I mean, these deputies do that. They check out kids after school if they're having a bad day. If we had an issue with the kid, they go to that home, they talk to the parents, and we need to be doing that. I think that we're missing the mark there if we do not do that. And bringing back DARE in our schools, that's going to be another thing that these deputies will do from the elementary school level to the middle school level. And I think, again, we're missing the mark. We're not teaching our kids drug education, which they need, and what it looks like, how it affects them long, short term. And decision-making, that's also taught in DARE. And I think, again, we're missing the mark if we're not teaching our kids that. But thank you for allowing us to do this committee. Again, it's just not me. It's going to be members of our community. And I think it'll help us, one, hear the concerns of our students and staff, and 2, again, it's all of us as leaders in this room to put this together to help our community and our staff, school bus drivers, and our students. Thank you.
So you came to us a few weeks ago and presented this idea, said you wanted to do this. And can you talk a little bit more about the things you see that have you so concerned?
Again, the violence, just not the violence, the fighting. I think we just heard that. I think it's in the meeting, April 11th, I think we're 600+ fights within our school system. And seeing what goes outside of school, and I think that a bigger violence is out there for some of these students that are key players that are inside that school system. And I think as me, as a dedicated sheriff, is to be proactive in this. I think that if we're not proactive, then this falls in my lap now, because I am responsible for the safety of everybody that lives in our county, including our students, including our staff in our school system, and including our bus drivers. Also, you hear the raw marijuana. I mean, I don't think today. I mean, marijuana is still a Schedule I drug, and it is illegal. And I think that we have a drug-free school zone for a reason. And I want to kind of tackle and put my finger on, 1, the violence, and 2, the drug issues that is occurring in our school system.
And it's not widespread, right? There's a minority population that you see that's creating these issues, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I've talked to a handful of staff members, and we're allowing that small minority to win. And we do have a lot of good students, a lot of great things that happen in Calvert High School. Again, that's my high school, and again, I take it personal. And I think that if we allow the minority to win there, that the small percentage of our students, because there is a lot of kids that are doing great things. There's kids that are going through our military. There's kids that are going to school. There's kids getting scholarships. We had our teams have been to state championships there. We're doing a lot of good things, and I think we need to highlight those things and not allow this small percentage to win. And again, discipline. I mean, we had the vice principal there with her nose broken, and that student's allowed back in the building. It's just I don't know why, but these are the things I want to see and be a part of, and I think we all do in this room.
And part of the role of the work group, I assume, is to get the facts out, so that we hear lots of rumors, and as we all know, you hear anything and everything on social media, but part of the work group is to make sure that the facts get out about.
Again, I talked to another member of Huntingtown High School, and I think that we allow social media to kind of rule. And I know Ms. Grennis talked about in the April 11th meeting, is that the cell phone misuse in the schools too as well. I think that's very distracting for students with the learning environment, and allowing that social media presence to be in our school and win there. So that's another item too.
And people are going to say that we are getting into the business of the Board of Education. So why do you believe you need this work group?
It's just, I don't think we're getting in the business. Me as the sheriff and the taxpayers that live here, they fund the budget for the school system. They fund my budget at the sheriff's office. And I think we owe it to all of our citizens that live here, taxpayers that live here, to hear the concerns, me to hear them, 1, and 2, this committee. And I think one person can't make all the choices, or can't hear all the rumors that you're saying out there. But if we get this committee, advisory board, it would be a better report for you guys, just not the school system or the school board. Because they need help too. I mean, they get a lot of pressure on them, as I am getting as the sheriff. And, this is a proactive measure to put in place for all of us.
So, and we did invite the superintendent, and he's here. We're gonna give him an opportunity to speak, because this has gotta be a partnership. Can't be one way. So, any other questions?
I do. So the other day I had a teacher from Coward High, I wasn't at the store, came see my wife. Petrified. I graduated from there too in '86. Everybody knows I'm a business person. I don't know how to run a school system. There's a lot of things I don't know how to do, but my background is to apply things the way a business person would do things. I have things I don't know how to do, but you bring in people that do know how to do those things, and that's what they do. I would assume any business I was running, that if I had a violence issue or a drug issue, I would call law enforcement, because that's what they do. So my question to you, Sheriff, is what is your relationship with any school, not just Coward High, but if there's I am blown away that a teacher would be touched. Not in the time that I grew up. The high school down my way, Pax, teacher I know very well, was punched in the face. Now that child was 18 years old and did go to the detention center for a small period of time. I don't know what you can do with a minor. I don't know. That's not what I do. But what I guess liberties are you allowed to do to go in and, like, say it's not a lot of kids. And the great thing about Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, if you people don't know, is they don't just go to work. They coach sports. They're extremely involved in the community. They know all of these kids. So I would assume that you would have officers that know a lot of these kids. Are you given the liberties to just go into a school, talk to the principal and say, hey, look, I need to put 5, 10 guys here, or whatever law enforcement does to help rectify this?
Good question. We had a meeting last year, this time about Coward High School and the violence, and here we are again. I mean, I give the school board that's their shop, let them run it. But now that we're back here again talking about the violence and not just the physical violence on our staff, but the verbal violence that they're getting, abuse, and that's just not the way. I graduated from Coward High School 25 years ago. That's just not the way I came up. And I see it going down the wrong path. And me, I want to be, like I told them in the meeting last year, I'll give you every resource that I have. I'll put a deputy in every hallway. If we can kind of quell the violence there that's happening in our hallways, in our bathrooms.
So is that what we're doing now?
No, we're not. It's kind of, every principal kind of is the king of that building, king or queen of that building, and they kind of dictate what happens inside that building. And you can kind of get different approach on measures that taken inside that building. Just the principal can kind of set the tone of that building. But again, I'll give every resource that I have available to me to help this situation out. And I want to make that clear to the public.
So do you feel a need to go into Calvert High School?
Yes, I do. I feel like not as a because I don't want Coward High School to look like prison, because I've been long conversations about that. It's not that. It's building those relationships with the kids. My assistant sheriff Dave Payne, he coaches the football team. He coaches the girls lacrosse team, and a lot of folks, like you said, coach there. And I think it's building those relationships. A lot of these kids that we have issues with, they don't have parents at home. And then you hear a lot on the phone that I get phone calls about, it's the parents issue. Well, some of these kids don't have parents. And I think that, allowing a coach Sneed, he's there, he's the head football coach at Calvert High School. He's great with the kids. He was my football coach when I was there, and he does awesome things there, but he can't do it by himself. And we want to be that help if we can be inside the building or outside the building. That's what I'm here for.
So what's concerning to me is, and I find it very disturbing, that we have a high school with 8 restrooms and 5 of them are closed, locked. We have teachers outside of those restrooms, monitoring them restrooms. The teachers should be teaching. So number one, is a septic at Calvert High failed? We have COMA laws that state that you have to have restrooms so many feet from the auditorium. You have to have so many restrooms per student, and we aren't adhering to these laws. I talked to a student last night, and she said sometimes she's late to class because of the lines from these restrooms. And I just find that very disturbing, and that's why I'm for this committee. It's not only going to take this committee, but it's going to take the Board of Ed, it's going to take the superintendent, it's going to take the BOE, our board, everybody, the community to work together on this. I would like to know, do we lock all the restrooms down at each school? I don't know. This was just, like I said, I talked to a student last night, and she said yes, that they only had 3 operating at Calvert High right now. Why? You know, we just don't get emails on budgets and water and sewers. We get Board of Ed emails also, a lot of them. So I'm for this committee. I hope this committee will work together with all people, all partnerships together, and in doing better for our citizens and our students.
So I had the opportunity to speak to a lot of parents, teachers, and students over the weekend. And last week, it came to light, there was a letter that we received, all the commissioners received via email, and I've asked that gentleman to come in and share it with us. Rick Hill, would you come up? Just step up to the mic there if you would, and share your experience if you would, please.
Introduce yourself, please.
How you doing? Hi, my name's Richard Hill. Lifelong resident of the county, been here since 1970. There's a reason I wrote this letter. I'll read it and then make a couple comments afterwards. I was in Prince Frederick. This happened a week and a half ago. I was in Prince Frederick, standing in line to order lunch, when I overheard a conversation between a mother and her son that was extremely troubling to me. The young man was telling his mother about how scared his friends were when attending school. The mother advised him to hang in there, stating that it would be okay because she had put a transfer in at work to be relocating to the Williamsburg, Virginia area, and things are much safer out there. So I couldn't help myself. I turned around, became involved in their conversation, and what I learned next was even more horrifying, that the young man was a middle school student here in Calvert County. His mother is a member of the U.S. military and had requested to be stationed in Washington, D.C. several years ago so they could live in Calvert County because of the school system. The young gentleman proceeded to tell me that his friends are scared to death and hate attending school for fear of being jumped and beaten up for no reason. He said there were fights at his school on a daily basis, and you just pray that you don't get jumped. Many of his friends refrain from drinking liquids throughout the day so they don't have to use the bathroom. He advised that it was really scary to walk into a bathroom. He also stated that he heard it was even worse in the high schools. Just when I thought my blood pressure could not get any higher, the gentleman shared another story with me. He is passionate for the martial arts and is proud to be a black belt in Taekwondo. A few weeks ago, he was walking in the hallway when he got randomly attacked from behind. He stated that a boy jumped on his back and began beating him in the head. In self-defense, he utilized a maneuver he had learned in Taekwondo, took the assailant down to the ground unharmed, placed him in a restraining hold until teachers could arrive. At that point, the mother spoke up and advised that her son received a one-day in-school suspension for his actions. I stated that he should have gotten a Medal of Honor. As leaders, where has our common sense gone? This is absolutely ridiculous, extremely troublesome. As a lifelong resident of Calvert County, a graduate of the Calvert County school system, I was completely embarrassed and mortified to stand in front of this woman and her son and listen to their story. This young man was intelligent, well-spoken, and extremely respectful when speaking to me. I couldn't help but think, this is a young man who would eventually become a tremendous asset to our local community, yet we are pushing him away to a neighboring state. Way to go, leaders. When is someone going to wake up, stand up, become a leader, and restore some respect and accountability and discipline back to our school system? As a retired Maryland State Trooper, I know a thing or two about, excuse me, discipline and accountability. I also know the devastating effects when there is a total lack of discipline and accountability. All I'm asking is that please take this seriously and invest in correcting this issue before the county we love becomes unrecognizable. So yeah, I went to Prince Frederick, had this conversation, came home, wrote a letter, just because I figured it might make a difference. Even more upsetting, since I wrote this letter a week and a half ago, I don't have all the details, but since writing this letter, there's been 4 fights at Calvert High School. These were all before 9 a.m. One on a bus where the window was shattered. There was a fight at Mill Creek in a bathroom where a kid got a broken arm. There was a teacher badly bruised from a kid with a cast, that was at Plum Point. And there was a library lockdown at Southern Middle where a kid was cursing, beating his laptop against the glass, and it led to a full school lockdown. On top of that, yesterday I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who had went to get his hair cut, heard I had written a letter, called me to tell me that his daughter just graduated from Salisbury, 4 years, teaching degree, first year teaching in Calvert County, I believe it's the elementary school, and that she was looking for a new career. Wasn't even sure if she was going to make it through the remainder of this year. Said she had absolutely hated it, and the school system was out of control. So yeah, these are troubling, and I just ask that someone take notice, try to do the right thing. I don't have the answers, but I do know that discipline, fair and consistently implemented, isn't rocket science. It's not too much to ask. It shouldn't be a partisan issue. Shouldn't matter what end of the spectrum we're on. So that's all. I just wanted to share that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for taking your time to come.
Thank you.
So I tried putting everything into bullet point format. I'm going to touch on a few things that I learned from my conversation this weekend. There were definitely numerous fights at Calvert High School just last Friday, which raised serious safety concerns among students and parents alike. Bathroom accessibility, Commissioner Cox touched on that, but even more so than that, they're breaking these bathrooms up. Calvert High School cost, I believe, over $50 million to build, and they're breaking our schools up. They're breaking buses up, and we need to hold them accountable for their actions. The state of the bathrooms is alarming, with reports of vandalism, including broken dispensers, mirrors, breaking wall dividers. Drug use, instances of vaping and drug use within school premises, particularly in the bathrooms, are a growing concern. Students are found engaging in these activities with little to no consequences, undermining the school's disciplinary policy. Some parents are considering keeping their children home due to escalating incidents at school, particularly Calvert High, if those parents were. They fear for their children's safety and academic progress as disruptions and violence continue to worsen. Students express feeling slighted by the presence of long-term substitutes instead of regular teachers, affecting the quality of education they receive, lack of discipline. The students feel these are students, feel that there's definitely a lack of reports of student code of conduct not being enforced consistently, leading to a lack of accountability for disruptive behavior. Again, the facility damage, I already touched on that. Inconsistent supervision, safety advocates monitor the hallway, bathrooms, primarily in the mornings, but they can't be there all day to do so. And as Mr. Hill talked about, I'm a graduate of Calvert High School, retired captain from the sheriff's office, and I'm thoroughly disgusted at what's going on and what we're hearing in these types of behavior. This has been going on, as Sheriff Cox said, for over a year. Sheriff Cox and I have had numerous conversations. Something needs to be done. Now's the time. Dr. Townsend will work for every resource at you we can to help you get Calvert High School under control. We're willing to do that, I believe, as a board here, and hopefully by us establishing this committee, it'll help get different perspectives and be able to push things in the right direction to definitely turn things around.
So Sheriff, we hear a lot of this is spillover from communities. So have there been programs you've implemented or actions you've taken to help in those communities to try to address the issues that?
We have, like I said, our SROs are really involved in our communities. We've had, last 2 Saturdays ago, we've had one in our community as far as we were all out there. We had help with Parks and Rec. also there. Our community resources were there, and the kids were out there. It was great. They had face paintings. They interact with the deputies. We're going to continue to do that outside that school building. And like I said, I have the Youth Advisory Committee. I'm going to stand up this year, continuing that. And then also we put our neighborhood liaison program out there. So if you have a neighborhood and you would like a deputy, I assign a deputy to that neighborhood where you can hear these concerns, because a lot of that stuff, kind of when I was elected sheriff, a lot of that stuff gets dropped or unnoticed, or the next shift comes on and you don't hear what the concerns and the problems the night before, but a deputy will be assigned to your neighborhood. I think we have 20 neighborhoods now already signed up with a deputy. It's great to see a lot of them invite them to their Easter festivities just recently, and that's where I want to see the program go. And also too, and I think they're interacting with our kids. And I think right now we see a lot of stuff behind the scenes that occurs outside that school building, and the violence is crazy out there. I mean, if you go to Lexington Park and what they deal with every day, and Sheriff Hall talking with him, I don't want to be that. I mean, I think that we have the opportunity right now to put our heads together and put something in place that where we can stop that. And I don't want that to happen over there, because a lot of these kids are affiliated with those kids in Lexington Park. And if you just read what happens there every night, I mean, Sheriff Hall's put in a tough spot. I think he does a great job, but I think we could head this off right now, and we could be a part of the solution moving forward. So again, Commissioner Cox was in that meeting last year, and he can vouch to what I said in there. I mean, we had the same issues last year, and here we are again at the end of the school year talking about it again. And I think it's my duty as sheriff to step up to the plate and be a part of that solution.
So you do have an SRO in Calvert High, correct?
We do. And school advocates, the colonel and I talked about too, is adding another SRO before putting another SRO in there if it's needed, if Dr. Townsend would like, to the end of the school year too as well. I know we're a couple of days, 20 days for school ending. Seniors will be out of school in about 10 days. And again, we were at the mock crash. I talked to all the seniors and juniors at Northern, Calvert, and Huntingtown, and we showed them the effects of drinking and driving. And a lot of kids, and we talked to them, a lot of kids are driving high, and they think it's okay. And it's still a legal drug. It shouldn't be in our school system. It's still a Schedule I drug. And, in my time, if you got caught with with a fight, or I know laws have changed or whatnot, and you hear a lot that we can't do anything because of the state, but I don't believe that. I think that we can discipline our kids, and we can take these resources that we have available to us and not allow that small population, that school system to win.
So I think I heard that the federal government's considering taking marijuana off the Schedule I list.
That is in place, yes. That's moving forward very
So how's that
fast.
going to impact your,
As you can see right now, Commissioner Allen have heard, we've talked to many students, we've talked to many staff members. I mean, it is an issue, and we're seeing a lot of that. And again, a lot of these kids are driving high. At the mock crash, there were 6 students in the bathroom at Calvert High that were caught. It was brought to my attention that day, smoking raw marijuana in the bathroom, and they were sent back to class. I mean, we send these kids back to class high, or, I mean, that's happening. And it's not throwing anybody under the bus. It's not, I'm not, again, I take it personal. Calvert High School is my school, and I would like to see that thing thrive and flourish. But right now, we're allowing, the small population to win.
But that
So,
code of
Sheriff-
conduct, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I wanted to catch you when you were saying, so 6 students caught smoking marijuana, regardless of age, isn't that still illegal?
Correct. I mean, if you got, a drug-free school zone is still a drug-free school zone. And if you get caught within it, what's the penalty on that? I mean, it's harsh.
How can they be
enhanced.
sent back to class, though?
What's that?
How can they be sent back to class?
Again, I'm told as the sheriff that nothing's being done about the discipline and the drug use in our schools.
But and this is where I'm naive.
And you hear students talk, they
Wouldn't the
talked
law
about it.
circumvent what a principal would say, though? I mean, if a kid broke the law, and especially in a drug-free zone, would that legally give you the right to go in?
And also it affects federal funding too as well. That could be the case.
Right, but can you legally go in at that point and say, hey, this person was smoking marijuana?
If we're told about it.
We were told after the fact.
So, I mean, the student code of conduct deters that type of behavior. You're supposed to be banning that type of behavior, but it's not being addressed. But at the end of the day, this whole thing is about making sure our parents, our teachers, our students feel safe going to school, that parents feel safe sending their children to school. And that's where this committee, I believe, can make a difference. We have a good quality of life here in Calvert County, and we need to keep it that way.
And then again, you hear the testimony of the student, April 11th, and me as the sheriff, I hear that that student was bullied because she stepped up to the plate and and gave those issues out. Me as the sheriff with this youth advisory committee, they can tell me issues where she doesn't have to be out there and put herself out there, and if that's happening with our staff members, if we don't know the issues, we can't fix them.
Correct.
And I've heard that. I mean, it's,
Correct.
So the objective of this committee will look at all the issues holistically and identify any potential resources in addition to what the sheriff can provide. So our plan is to do a outreach, allow individuals to apply for this committee, and we'll do a quick turnaround and provide a list of recommended candidates for this committee to the board. Our goal is within 30 days. I know that's optimistic, but our plan is 30 days to have
At
a
least
turnaround.
by the beginning of the next school year, it'll be in place, and we
Correct.
can have some recommendations in
And then we'll
place.
look at quick wins, short-term recommendations, and long-term recommendations.
But in the meantime, we still need to ensure the safety of our students the rest
and
of
again,
this year.
teaching our students what drugs do, how it affects you, long-term, short-term, I mean, how it affects your career. And having those mock crashes in that 10 minutes to talk to them, as the sheriff, I think I think we have the attention of the students. And I think that needs to be, reiterated a lot,
And I'll go
more
back to the
often
mock
than not.
crash. Those students that day were probably the most attentive group of students I've ever dealt with at a mock crash. It's not just those, it's not everybody. It's a small group that's making it bad and make everybody feel unsafe and causing most of these problems in school. And that small group is who needs to be addressed. But you want a motion, sir?
No, I want to give Dr. Townsend an
Oh,
opportunity.
okay.
And also too, Mr. President, I believe Ms. Grennis is here as well.
Well, we have, Dr., if you would give up your seat,
Yes,
please,
sir.
Linda. Dr. Townsend. And we do have, I know I saw Lisa and Jana here today from the Board of Education, but I did call Dr. Townsend the other day and really appreciate him making an opportunity in his schedule. Did not want to have this discussion without him being here. Didn't want to feel like you were being left out. This has got to be a partnership. We're not here because we want to be here, but, as you heard this morning, that's the stuff we're hearing. And it's because people feel frustrated and they're not seeing what they believe are adequate actions. And unfortunately, we are here today. So I want to give you an opportunity to address anything you've heard or plans of action, or the floor is yours.
Sure, thank you. So I'll share this, two things. One, as the superintendent, I'm open to any type of support and resources, whatever it takes to be proactive. So I'm always going to work in good faith to ensure we get the outcomes that we're looking for. Second, in no way to be defensive in any way, shape, or form, very similar to our sheriff. I take everything personal, especially when it's on my watch. The only thing I want to clear up is the information that nothing is happening. Because I know people say things and run and say, well, 6 kids did this and nothing happened, because you're absolutely right. The law does circumvent any policy, because the law is the law. It's important to share that Calvert County Public Schools has the 3rd highest arrest in any other district in the state of Maryland. So things are happening for sure. Young people are we're top 3 in arrests in the state, of our young people being arrested, taken to juvenile, and whatever. So things are happening. As a matter of fact, I'll be at 11 o'clock today with Fox 5 Baltimore talking about our high arrest rate in our school system. Additionally, saying the memo shares that if anything is being reported, that's also not true. We have thousands of referrals and incidents that are being reported, because when I came on board, if you recall, with the drama I was dealing with the playbook and all of that, I came hitting the ground when I heard that there were discipline issues and made an attempt to address it, and was told that I was mismanaging funds. And I'm just listening, like we're all listening, tried to do something with a few extra dollars that I had, and it was shot down. And then we had issues that kind of arose around Christmas. We got that under control, finished up the year, the 22-23 academic year. Now here we are in 23-24. If you recall, these issues are now coming up after spring break. So we had a good school year. Now things are bubbling up, weather's getting warm, issues are arising. I've spent countless hours as a superintendent in that school. Previously, I talked with our sheriff about doing safety walks at our campuses to ensure, kind of see, let's walk to the bathrooms, let's walk to the classrooms. I spent 2 hours at Calvert High School doing that with teachers and safety advocates. So, you know, I do believe it takes a village. The problem is that a lot of stuff happened in the community. We talk about the drug issue. I mean, we only do fundraisers and sell tickets to games. Where are they buying these vapes and tobacco? In the community. You have to be an adult to buy that, to my knowledge. Our young people can't buy that. So it's a bigger issue that's occurring. But as a superintendent, I take it personal. I'm going to lean in 120% and listen. But I want to ensure that everyone's working in good faith. To say nothing is happening, I cannot co-sign that because I have the data to prove it and I can't run and hide from that. We have to report that to the state. Additionally, with the incidents and the referrals and the suspensions, I mean, they're up in Calvert County because when I got here, I was told nothing is happening, nothing's being reported. So my charge to our leadership is to report everything, I don't care what it is. I've even said that to our union presidents. So that's been my mantra since day one. But as long as everyone's on the same page, working in good faith and ensuring that we have the best school system possible, I'm all in for that. But I don't want the perception that nothing is happening, because that is not true. And I would not sit here and lie in front of all of our community leaders and say nothing. We're reporting things knowing that that's not happening. Things are happening, and and the worst thing that can happen to a student is getting arrested. And we lead the state in arrest, top 3. So I just wanted to park my bus on that.
Can you speak a little bit on the bathrooms closures and the thought process behind that? By
Being
closing them?
proactive, if you have areas that have been flagged as high areas where things are happening, just locking the bathroom and having them walk to a main area.
But to deny someone the accessibility of a restroom, and going back to Comal law, you know, we're breaking the law there.
I would agree with you 100% with the denying and not breaking the law. We're not going to break the law. So I would agree with you on that. I don't want to do that at all. So if we're breaking any laws, we're going to not break laws.
So is there a plan to try to address the bathroom issues?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, today, when I get out of here, I'm going to send our plan to get us to the end of the year to our Board of Education. I had the school leadership come up with a plan to ensure safety for the rest of this academic year, and I'll share that with our board today.
So they're meeting tonight?
No, I'm sending the
Oh,
information.
you're
We've
gonna send the
already met,
information
yes.
out. So you can't share that with us until you share with them?
Well, I don't have it in front of me to
Oh,
share with you.
gotcha.
I'm share with our Board of Education today.
So you have any issues with the work group?
I would like to be on the front end of it. It does, as the superintendent, it feels, and I'm not a person of feeling, but it doesn't, if I had have known, hey, Doc, we're trying to put something together, what are your thoughts? I'm 120%. That's how I work. But we are here now. I'll do everything in my power to be a team player and ensure that we get the best outcome. And I'm open and listen to the recommendations and apply them as needed.
And I think that's the goal.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not to shove something down your throat. It's a partnership, because if there's misinformation, that needs to get out. If there are disciplinary actions, or, you know, people feel like, you know, they don't feel like that, they're not getting that message. And you and I talk. I call you every time I hear an issue, and I always ask you, was some discipline implemented? And you say it was. So, you know, but, and I know you're struggling in your budget, and communications is not a high priority right now, but as I told you the other day, we can help you with that. We are more than 100% willing to help you get that message out. And I view this, I view this as an opportunity to help you and get that message out and get some community involvement and make them feel like they're a part of this process as we move forward. Because I've always believed that the more community involvement you get, the more engaged they are, the more support you're gonna get. So, I mean, I think that's our goal in setting up this work group. Catherine wants to speak.
So, and yeah, and this was just real fast while we're all in a room. So, since I've been on the board, I've always heard conflicting, what the sheriff's office can do and what they cannot do. Would there be a problem going forward? I mean, I think we have how many, 24 schools? Is that
Yes,
correct?
we have 24 schools.
Is there any issue with the sheriff to be able to do his job? If he heard there was a store somewhere or say a park somewhere where drugs were being dealt, he has full autonomy to do whatever he has to do legally and law enforcement wise to correct that position. I mean, that situation. Does he have that authority in the Calvert County school system to do his job?
Well, we work collaboratively with our sheriff department, which is why we have resource officers in our building. So our go-to are our resource officers. They're right there in the building. I don't know why any leader would push back a resource. I mean, when I was a high school principal, my officer and I were best friends, and we went to conferences together to NASRO for best practices, and he was like a counselor for me. And that's how all of our resource officers have been, to my knowledge. So it's news to me that we're not working collaboratively with our sheriff's office. And I don't, that's news to me. So it's up to me to work collaboratively with our sheriff and find out where that barrier is and ensure that we have a great working relationship. Because I don't want it to ever appear school versus sheriff, school versus this is Calvert County. I've been saying that since day one. So if there's any barriers, it's my job to remove those barriers and ensure that we're working together collaboratively and on the same page. You know, I've added 2 resource officers to our budget this upcoming year. I've asked for that. So, you know, I'm all in for support, resources. Also, I'm in for good faith and truth. Because the only thing that catches me off guard if I hear nothing's happening, and then it's kind of ran as gospel. And I'm sitting here like, whoa, someone call me and ask. I'm always open. Every last one of you have my personal number, I believe. So just reach out. And communication is our priority. We just have budget issue, you know what I mean? So it was a major priority. It didn't exist in Calvert County until I got here. I added a communications department. But with the lack of state funding, just being fiscally responsible, that's the least impact to student achievement. But if there's an opportunity to resurrect our communications department, I want to do that because I only can do so much as a superintendent, and I don't want the perception to be that all Dr. Townsend does is talk about the positive things. Well, I do. It's a great school system, and things happen all the time, and it is a small group, and it is and we're handling, but I don't think that should be the face of Calvert County Public Schools at all. We have young people doing amazing things, educators doing amazing things, and that is the story. But as a superintendent, I'm going to listen, I'm going to work, I'm going to take whatever recommendation and see how best it applies to our school system, and we'll all be able to talk about this years down the line about how this advisory committee added value to the system, and I'm down with that.
Good. I think Commissioner Grasso is phoned in.
She is ready.
Commissioner Grasso.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is Commissioner Grasso. I'm calling from Ireland. I'm over here visiting friends and family, and I saw the agenda and felt compelled to stop and to participate. It's amazing. I decided to participate in this, and 2 nights ago I received a call from a grandparent talking about the same subject matter. And when he got off the phone, he said, please, 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 Commissioner, do something about this. We are all scared to death for our students. Now, I know we have high-performing students. I know we have wonderful teachers. Our school system has been among the best. But make no mistake, what I want to say, the inmates are running the asylum. And if that offends anybody's delicate senses, oh well, get over it. because we are receiving so many calls, so many things our children are witnessing and not being able to learn within the school system because of the disruption within the school system. I am more than willing to be on this committee. I want to see something done. And if we have to have a police presence that maybe makes some kids uneasy, so be it. We have got to get our school back so our students can learn. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Brasso. Have a good time.
Well, I'm going to continue to listen because this really, really is more important than anything I'm doing here.
So again,
So,
Commissioner
ready for motion?
any other questions?
I'd like to add, we do have a meeting this week scheduled with Dr. Townsend already, so that is a step in a good direction.
Good.
And then that was before this, before I knew about this here.
Yeah.
So just
Right.
to say we are working.
And then we didn't throw this at Dr. Townsend, like we've been trying to schedule a meeting with his staff since before Easter. The proper channels, I mean, me as the sheriff, I don't want to step on his toes by any means, but the communication has to get better, because I wanted to lay that out there since they were told after Easter, we'll schedule a meeting. And then now the violence continues at Coward High School, and it's just me as a sheriff, I think this is a priority for me, so.
So I think we need consistency, transparency, and accountability, and I think that'll take care of most of our issues across the board. So I'm gonna make a motion. I move that we approve the creation of an ad hoc Calvert County Student Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee appointed by the Board of County Commissioners to include representation from the Sheriff's Office, county government, Calvert County Public Schools, faith-based and nonprofit organizations to review data from multiple sources and develop recommendations for this board.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Aye.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
Lisa.
So the next item on the agenda is a work session, Department of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
Jared Cosgrove, Director of Public Works. And to my right, I have Mike Maker. He's with Next Gen Strategies and Solutions Company. He's the consultant we've had working on our rate study for water and sewer. And to his right, I have Deputy Director James Ritter for enterprise funds.
Morning.
So we're here, of course, this morning to talk about the findings of the rate study. We've gone through it over the past probably year and a half or more. It seems like it just keeps going and going. We've updated it with the new numbers from the '23 actuals and our FY '25 budget. And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to move forward with the presentation.
Thank you. So I have a quick presentation. If you have questions along the way, please let me know. So just a table of contents are our agenda. We have the study assumptions, the revenue requirements, which is just another term for the cost of the system, your current rates, projected rates for the next 5 years, and then some sample bills in comparison, and then taking a look at capital connection fees. So just the guiding principles and objective of the study. So the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund should be financially self-supporting. They should obviously not be funded through the general fund and vice versa. If there are any services they receive from the general fund, they should certainly pay for those. They should maintain reserves, provide for contingencies, unplanned expenses, just as you maintain a checking account and a savings account for any unplanned expenses. So should the water and sewer utilities. The water and sewer rates should be kept as low as possible over time, and we've italicized over time here because you can defer maintenance, not invest in the system, and then have a main break or something downtown and need to do a really high rate increase. So the goal is to try to keep them low over time. So our objectives were to ensure rates are stable through sound financial management, system maintenance, And we do that by reviewing the funds and then preparing a long-term financial plan. So what are the factors that affect water and sewer charges and rates? So obviously your O&M expenses, that's going to be your benefits, your salaries, materials, supplies, things like that. We've assumed a 2.5% escalation rate. That's been about the historical average for the CPI over the past 20, 25 years. I know in the recent past it's been a lot higher than that, but we're seeing it come back down to more normal levels. Capital improvement plan is going to be a big driver. That's your investment in your actual infrastructure, so your treatment plants, your water mains, distribution collection systems. Debt service, so any capital projects that we plan on debt funding, we're using a 3% interest rate and a 25-year maturity. And so you have some existing debt right now, so principal interest payments you're paying right now, and then additional debt service from any future capital projects. Any customer usage growth, right now we're assuming we're being conservative. We're saying no growth in the system. So if any growth does occur, that will obviously help the fund, but right now we just want to be conservative there. Same thing with any miscellaneous revenue, so anything other than rates and charges, interest, penalties, miscellaneous sales, we're assuming no growth there. And then I mentioned that operating reserves or cash balance, our reserve target is maintaining 180 days of operating expenses. It's roughly half a year of your operating expenses maintained in reserve. So what is the relationship between user rates and capital connection fees? So as you know, user rates are what your current customers pay in their quarterly bills. Capital connection fees are what new customers pay who join the system until they become current customers and then start paying user rates. So capital connection fees are one-time charges that only new customers pay. So operating expenses, you can see in that green box to the left, that must be paid through user rates. And then when we get to capital expenses in the blue, the bottom left, they can either be system maintenance or non-growth related, or they can be system expansion or growth related, and either of those can be cash or debt funded. But if they are non-growth related, ideally they should come from user rates through existing customers. And if they're growth related, either they're adding capacity to the system or expanding the system, they should ideally come from capital connection fees. But you do see a note here at the bottom of that red dotted line. So if capital connection fees are set at less than costs or anticipated growth does not occur, then existing customers have to make up that difference via higher user rates. So what this shows is these column charts are the expenses of the system for water. So the blue being operating expenses, you can see our base year, current year of 24, and then the next 6 years or so, from 25 through 30. The red being current debt service, so that's any principal and interest payments you're making right now. The green being any cash funded projects, and then the purple being new projects that will be debt funded. The blue line going horizontally across is how much revenue you're bringing in now, and then the darker blue line that's sloping up to the right there, that's our proposed revenue. And that proposed revenue line for water reflects a 3% increase each year from 25 to 2030, so roughly keeping up with inflation. The effect on the operating cash balance for water, so here you can see our starting balance of just under $4 million in blue, and then the red line being the target, that 180 days. And here you can see we are meeting that 180 days and then building a slight cushion over the next 6 years. Turning to sewer, we're dealing with a lot larger expenses. Typically, wastewater is a lot more expensive to treat. And here, again, looking at the blue as being our operating expenses, the red, current debt service, the green being any cash funding of projects, and then purple you can see, which becomes quite significant in the future years, is new capital projects that are going to be debt funded. So we have some large capital projects, treatment projects that the county is going to need to fund. And then I mentioned before in that one chart showing the relationship between user rates and capital connection fees, that dark maroon color, the connection fee shortfall, so that's where connection fee expenses have exceeded connection fee revenues, and then user rates need to make up for it, looks like starting in 2027. The line going across again is current revenues, and then the dark blue sloping line is our recommended projected revenues, which reflects a 9% increase each of the next 4 years, and then 3% increases after that. So the goal is to try to get to an inflationary increase eventually. We're just not there yet for wastewater. And then, I lost my clicker.
Can you straighten to the next slide, please?
Oh, too far. Okay. So here again is the cash balance on the wastewater side or the sewer side. So here, starting with just under $4 million in '24, and the target being that red line. Here you can see we're building up the cash balance a little, and then by the end of the financial term, we're actually bringing it back down, so we're just about meeting that target cash on hand. So now turning to the rate designs, that's the costs we just looked at, and now looking at how we would pay for that through rates. So your current rate design is just a quarterly base rate, so everybody pays the same fixed charge, quarterly base rate per EDU or equivalent dwelling unit, and then you have a unit rate for any variable usage. What we've discussed in past sessions and with the public is going to an alternative where we have a quarterly base rate and then what we call inclining block rate. So we'd have 4 tiers, so the more you use, the more you would pay. And so this reflects any customers who are doing, excessive irrigation or anything that's, above and beyond essential water needs. And so this would be a 4-tier system where the tier 1 would be the lowest rate, so that'd be your essential use, washing, cleaning, bathing, things like that. And then tier 2 being, some irrigation, then tier 3 and 4 is more excessive use. And so we're capturing most residential customers, I think, in the first 2 tiers, and then those who exceed that typical usage, we obviously pay more for that.
So, I hate to ask questions in the middle of a presentation, but while we're here, tier 1, is that like a couple, no children situation?
Even with children, you could stay in that tier if it's just essential cooking, cleaning. It's really once you are going outside and irrigating is probably when you start hitting the next tiers. Tier 2 actually captures the median usage customer, so I think it's about 9,000 gallons is the median. So roughly half of your residential customers use below 9,000 per quarter and half use above that.
So is that a family of 4? I'm trying to give people a sense of where they fit in the categories, in the tiers.
It's difficult to say the size of family, but if you look at the slide here, we got 58% of our customers are in tier 2. And tier 2 is ranging between 4,500 gallons to 18,000 gallons a quarter. So the majority of our customers are in tier 2, with an additional probably 23% in tier 1. So if you look at the majority of our families, you could probably say a family of 4 or 5 is probably within a tier 2 and down.
So 80% of your customers are in tier 1 and 2.
Yep. Yeah, 50% of the usage, 80% of the customers. Yep.
But Jared, didn't you find a lot of this, and maybe I'm completely wrong, I'm trying to remember back, wasn't a lot of this like watering yards and stuff like that that really increased a lot of usage? Wasn't there a
Yes.
lot of extracurricular things besides just like showers and?
When you start getting into the residential customers that push up into the tier 3, a lot of those have irrigation in their yard. That's a lot of the calls we were getting.
It actually uses a whole lot more than what people think.
Correct, but there is an alternative to that. We do allow or suggest to put in what they call a subtraction meter. So you can come get an additional meter from our water sewer staff, and then have a licensed plumber install it, and you can have your irrigation connected to your subtraction meter. So what that does is, you're still paying for the water usage, but it doesn't affect your sewer side. Because that usage going to irrigation will be subtracted out, so you pay sewer for the actual water usage that's going through your house, not necessarily irrigating your yard. But you're gonna still pay for the water. But yeah, that's when we've noticed there's a large increase in a lot of customers, that they stay within that tier 2 in like the first quarter of the year, and then they start creeping into it the back half of the second quarter. But the third quarter, it really hits because it's pretty much the summer months,
That's what I thought.
and finishes off with a little bit into the fourth quarter, because that's at September, October-ish.
So just some additional statistical data. This is just a breakdown of customers who are residential versus commercial. So you can see the majority of your customers are residential, about 4,800. There are about 700 commercial customers. And then those customers, some customers are water only, some are sewer only, so they'll only be affected by one or the other rate increases. But the majority, again, are combined water and sewer customers. So here's the actual numbers, and again, we'll get to some slides showing the comparison bill, because we say customers don't really care what the rate is, they want to know what their bill's going to be, so we'll show you some of those. But if you just maintain the current rate design, again, that's just a quarterly base rate per equivalent dwelling unit, and then the variable rate, and then down below is the alternative recommended design, which also has that same quarterly base rate, which you'll see does not change, but then the variable rate is just how we collect the revenue from variable usage. And so here you can say, if, for example, in 2025, if you maintain the current rate design, you'd pay $3.01 per 1,000 gallons. But if you went to the alternative, if you stayed within Tier 1 and Tier 2, you'd actually pay a lower rate than the 301, because you'd be paying $213 or $266. But not until you reach Tier 3 and 4 would you start paying more than that 301. So again, really capturing that excessive usage. Same thing for sewer, so same concept. Here we have additional charge, though there are some customers who have unmetered sewer, so they're not receiving any water, and they just pay a fixed rate for that. So here, as I mentioned, about a quarterly bill impact. So this is 3 different residential customers. We have a small user using about 2,100 gallons per quarter. That median user I mentioned using 9,000 gallons, and then a large user using 15,000 gallons. And if we focus on that middle one, the median user with the 9,000, you can see their current bill is about $260 per quarter. Under the current rate design, that would go up to $280 or so. The alternative rate design, it would only be $262. So with the current rate design, they would see an $18 increase, and with the alternative design, they'd only see about a $1 increase. They'd actually see a lower water bill, but a higher sewer bill, just based on the fixed charge. So now turning to the capital connection fees. And again, these are only for new customers, so these do not affect any existing customers. This is any new customer planning on joining the system. So it's based on estimated water usage, measured gallons per day, or GPD. So current fees right now are $15 per gallons per day for water and $27 for sewer. And the county has several classifications. You have residential, institutional, commercial customers, and depending on which business type or connection, it may vary how the charge is actually based. So it could be per capita. If you're residential, gross square feet. It may be based on seat if you're a restaurant, things like that. But the typical equivalent dwelling unit is 200 gallons per day. So a typical residential property would pay for 200 gallons per day or 1 EDU. And those charges right now are $3,000 and $5,400. There's really 3 methodologies for calculating these charges. So there's a system buy-in, so that's for historical costs. This is usually going to end up in the lowest fee. This is for a system that is really not planning on expanding facilities or adding any growth. And then they have the incremental method. This reflects utilities that are adding additional growth and have new projects that are coming online. And this is usually the highest cost since it's based on new growth costs and new CIP costs. And then there's a hybrid method, which is kind of a weighted average of the 2 of those. So that's systems that are almost meeting their growth but have additional projects coming online. So this shows the proposed fees per gallon per day and then for a 200 gallon per day. So as you can see in that third column, the fees have actually not been raised since 2008, 2009. So you've had the same fees in place for that long. Right now, combined is about $42 per gallon per day, or $8,400, and the recommendation is to raise those water just to $16 per gallon per day, but the sewer to $105 per gallon per day, which is a significant increase, but it reflects the additional projects you're having to take online, treatment plant projects, Prince Frederick and Solomon's Island, to serve that new capacity. So the new recommended fee would be $24,200 for a new connection. And again, this is only for new customers. This would not affect any existing customers. And then this is a comparison to some surrounding utilities on those same fees. So the blue being water and the green being sewer. You can see way at the bottom there, if you can read that, the current Calvert County system development charges or capital connection fees are the lowest in the area. And then with the additional, looks like this chart didn't get sorted, but that would put you just about second highest with that higher sewer fee, right below Chesapeake Beach.
So the Public Works recommendations would be to advance the incorporation of the tier rate structure for the water and sewer billing along with the proposed fee schedule discussed today in our work session into the fiscal year 2025 Commissioner's budget. We would also recommend proceeding with the proposed increase in the capital connection fees as presented to be included in the fiscal year 2025 Commissioner's budget. So with that, do you all have any questions?
Questions?
Sure, I'll start. So I just want everybody to be clear that we just got this audit back April 28th. So it's been in the works. We've been working on this for, over 16 months. So we just got the new audit back, and that's why this information is coming back out to you today. I haven't seen a written statement from the consultant. Is one coming out for a written conclusion or summary of what's
The
in
report?
this? The report?
We can put them, yeah, we can put one together, sure.
Okay. The other thing, it's unclear to me why we used a bar graphs instead of a budget forming. And what I mean by that is, you know, you talk about the new debt, old debt. It would have been nice, you know, in between these lines, you got $2 million, $3 million, and it's just hard to see what's debt, you know. To give you an example, so in year 2027, what did you have for these salaries? You know, outlook on that, because we, you know, 4 years ago, we got hit with a big salary increase, you know, that we had to account for. What are you accounting for in 27, in 30? You know, what is your salary? So what's your fixed cost gonna look like? What is your variable cost gonna look like? You know, chemical pricing, what did they do in 25 compared to 27?
Did you say you used a 3% escalator? Because that's
Yes,
the average?
so we used the latest budget, so FY '25, and then based those on the inflation factors from there for different categories. So salaries with the 2.5%, and there's a financial model that's property of the county.
Okay.
And you can line by line say, well, our chemicals are gonna increase X%, so you can apply that, or hey, we're giving a cost of living adjustment to salaries, apply that. But I can put that all that. in a
Well,
report
I'm
for
just,
us,
you
yeah.
know, I'm just so that everybody's informed. It's just like the bonds, you know. So this year in bonds, we sold $5,395,000 in bonds listing for this. You know, it would just been nice to have, you know, what is current in that debt side and what's projected out in the CIP. That way people can understand.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, I
what's-
guess for presentation purposes, and a picture's worth 1,000 words, we're trying to get the representative of, you know, the magnitude, but we can certainly give you the details on the numbers, yeah, that's fine.
So could you explain the 180-day fund balance? You just said that the sewer was on the bigger side, so both of them are at 180 days out. So instead of making one 90 days out and one 200
Well,
some days
it's not days out, it's the, essentially, it's the equivalent of your operating expenses.
Yes.
So, you know, with a year being about 360, 365 days, 90 days would be about 25%, 180 days would be half of, or double that, so half a year. So it's essentially 50% of your operating expenses, so as your operating expenses increase, so should your reserve, and it's keeping that amount in a reserve, so.
Okay. So I was just wondering
Yeah.
because of the sewer is so much higher.
Yeah, the sewer, if you look at that one chart, it builds a little bit of a surplus, and then it starts coming back down as that debt hits, so then
Okay.
you start running shortfalls as you start closer to that target. I will tell you, there are benchmarking reports that are out there, American Water Association, which is kind of the industry standard for water. They put out a benchmarking report, and they surveyed different participants, and they show, of those participants, the top 25 percentile, they have over 400, 500 days cash. So 180 is, you know, half a year, 400 is over a year's worth. And then if you also look at rating agencies, you know, Moody's, Standard & Poor's, they put out median reports of those who have AAA rated, you know, obviously keeps your interest rates down, things like that. Those are AAA, you know, they have 400, 500 days. They won't tell you you must have this, but they will say of those, of your peers who do have a AAA rated bond, this is how much cash they have. So I have no issues recommending 180 days as a, you know, bare minimum, because others have, you know, way more than that, so.
Okay. And in the town halls, we also talked about the new bill looks. And so I don't know if you all want to touch on that and tell us when the new bills are coming out and what they look like and so forth.
So we're currently working with Technology Services and an implementer to implement new billing software as well as the new bills. Right now, we're projected to have that released at the beginning of September.
Okay. Also, we looked at, we have the grinder pumps, and we're going to include the whole picture of ordinance 3218 in this, correct? As getting everything captured in this water and sewer plan, and when we roll it out.
Yeah, so part of the commissioner's budget will have a fee schedule for all of water and sewer. What we're presented to you today, along with additional fees such as septic receiving, grinder pumps,
Bulk water.
bulk water, all those would be included in the fee schedule that will be part of the public hearing on the 16th.
Okay. So one thing that we did as a group here, we paused the resolution 3216 back a year and a half ago. Are we grandfathering any of the capital connections in on the commercial side?
Well, ultimately,
With-
that's, would be up to you all and how you all want us to proceed with the audit or not. And
I just don't see how we can pause it for a year and a half and then raise the rates and then expect them to go back after we paused it a year and a half ago. So it's just something I'm throwing out there to, for us
But
to,
then, they've been able to buy them, right?
no, these are the letters that went out.
These are the letters we sent out back in December of '22 is the one you're speaking of, where we put all customers on notice that they were using more than the allocated EDUs that they own.
Right, but capital connection fees is for new projects.
They offer new, but if we, I guess it's up to you all how you want to word it, but if we raise the increase of the capital connection fees, that's basically what they'd end up buying to allocate that water or
We will
sewer
have to,
capacity to them. So either we can restart the audit that was paused, because the way the resolution is written, we have the ability to do an audit each fiscal year. So if we restart that audit now in FY '24, we believe it would lock in the current fee for a capital connection fee. So if they currently have 100 EDUs, and when the audit's
Right.
done, they need
Okay,
150.
now I'm following where
Okay.
you are.
Correct.
Yes, if those people that have to buy additional EDUs because of the audit, yes, I would assume we're gonna grandfather those in. We would not require them to buy new.
at
pay
the
new
current
cost.
rate.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Okay.
wouldn't do that. I thought you were talking about new
No,
projects that are coming.
No, I'm talking
You're
about the ones
people-
that we
yes.
paused, how
I'm
many
with you
letters
now.
did we send out?
No,
Okay,
yeah, I think that we would charge the old rate
Around 180.
if, for people that have to buy those additional
No,
EDUs.
I think
Yes.
he's referring to about the 180 letters we sent out in
Yeah.
December.
yes.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
But if I remember correctly, the way, the direction of the board was, as far as residential customers go, they're only going to be required one EDU,
Yeah.
no
One
matter.
They
EDU,
won't have to buy
yes,
any.
So it's more for commercial use.
It's commercial.
Yes. So why don't you explain, JR, the format, so when we go to next week's public hearing and when these rates would take effect, touch on that for a minute.
So these rates, if approved with the budget on June 4th, would go into effect July 1. However, the current resolution for EDUs, you can come in and request purchase of them in advance of a project. And we have a tiered structure more or less of, you pay a third now when you allocate or when you request them, and then the remaining is due at time of UNO. That's how the resolution is written, if I remember correctly.
Correct, one-third at the time
Right,
of
yes.
public works agreements, and then another third at the time of permitting, and then the final third before UNO.
Right. No, just so everybody's clear. And that first bill would take place for the residential customers,
So if this is adopted, the first bill would come out the end of September.
September and that
with-
first
with the
quarter.
new rates.
Okay.
And as far as the connection fees goes, if they were to purchase them now, they would be charged the base rate
Yes.
at the end of September for the EDUs they purchase now,
Okay,
whether they're using water or not.
right. So why are we in this position? We never did the yearly audits. So my 20% here is that I would ask staff for a report after the 1 year that we implement this, so that we can see where we are in relation to the debt, to the revenue, and we can make adjustments. We're looking, 6 years out on this. So my only hope would be that after 1 year, we'd take a hard look at this and say, okay, this is where we are. The escalators need to be more, may need to be less. Let's look at our fund balance. That's all I have.
All right, we're good.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Can you hear-
Go ahead.
Okay, that's okay. This is Commissioner Grasso. JR, how do we stack up against other Southern Maryland counties with what we are proposing? I know we haven't raised rates in a long time, and therefore we're behind the 8 ball from what I understand. But with what you're proposing, how do we stack up against other counties?
As far as the capital connection fees, within Calvert County, we'd be the second highest, because of course Chesapeake Beach would be higher than us, we'd be a little above North Beach. But as far as connection fees, I believe with St. Mary's and Charles and PG, we would be higher than them, but of course our service area is smaller. As far as the
Okay.
rates themselves, I think we're close to being in line, we might be a little more than Charles, but Charles calculates theirs different.
Yeah. Each jurisdiction kind of has a different structure on how they calculate their fees. So like Jared said, we would be comparable with our other surrounding peers.
But on this,
Okay. Commissioner Hans, are we voting on anything today? Or are
Nope.
we voting after the public meeting?
No, ma'am, today is just a work session, so they're just looking for guidance of what to incorporate in the budget request that'll be next week when you will be here. So
So-
you'll have another opportunity
Okay,
next
thank-
Tuesday.
so JR, just
Thank
clarify.
you very much.
Just clarify what you said. So back, I guess you were referring to the capital connection fee on page 19, but we have 19 water systems. We have 5 treatment facilities. That's not a fair comparison in that chart, because we are here, so we got to get the whole relationship in that chart.
Correct, the other jurisdictions have a larger client base.
Yes,
their customer
yes,
base.
yeah. So that just gives us a tri-county look at things. It's
We lose
not.
economics of
Yes.
scale.
Right, pretty much,
We're spread out.
Yeah. We have a bunch of small systems,
correct.
which are inefficient.
Yes. Yes, we still have the same equipment running them,
Right.
more or less.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to proclamations. Our first proclamation is for Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. Commissioner Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, and get it started?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good morning, Commissioners. Julie Machino, Family Network Coordinator. Thank you for taking the time out of the day to recognize the importance of children's mental health. I brought with me a few of our partners who would like to just give a brief overview of some of the activities they're hosting this week. So first up, we'll have Miss Tiffany McFarland from the public schools to give an update on what the schools are doing.
Why don't you say who you are and come on up, everybody who's going to.
Yeah, just say come on up to
Yeah,
the
come
mic.
on up.
Good morning. My name's Tiffany McFarland. Whoop, where do you want me to go?
No, you're good.
Good. Okay.
Julie, come on up. Yep.
Julie was trying to hide.
She was.
I'm with Calvert County Public Schools. I'm the mental health coordinator, and I just wanted to highlight that the schools are participating in Chalk the Walk this week. We also are participating in some different activities where the elementary schools and the middle schools are doing things for the students where they're doing like rock painting, wellness walks, and things like that. And then all 4 of our high schools put on a mental health awareness fair for the students during their lunch periods. So the students got to go during their lunch periods, meet the community resources, and other partners in our schools, such as the Calvert County Health Department, that does in-school therapy, and also the school counselors, school psychologists, school social workers that help with mental health inside of the schools. And then as a district, our student services department is putting on a county-wide mental health fair on Thursday, May 9th, which is this Thursday. And we will have all of our community partners there as well. And our school counselors will be there to kind of say what they do in the school. The school social workers also have a table. The SROs will be there. We have free food trucks that are coming out for the community, and a free petting zoo, and a bunch of crafts for the children and anybody in the community that wants to participate. So I just wanted to highlight those events that we're doing for the students and the community members. You're welcome.
Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea McDonald-Finglin, and I'm the director at the Calvert County Local Behavioral Health Authority. And I'm really pleased to announce, in partnership with the Calvert County Public School System, the LBHA has put on a mental health awareness and suicide prevention art contest with our local school students. We had 3 front runners, and we selected 2 winners. One, in order to fashion into a logo to put on promotional items that we bring to community events. And the second is we turned into a poster, and we have a couple here for the courthouses, and we have lots back at the office as well. So if you guys need any more, please just let us know. So Sarah, this is Sarah Bailey. She's our child and adolescent coordinator, and she spearheaded this initiative with our Child and Adolescent Subcommittee of the Local Behavioral Health Advisory Council. And so we're just really excited to bring this beautiful artwork from one of our local middle schoolers to share with you, to raise awareness for mental health within our school system and to prevent suicide within Calvert County. So thank you guys so much for your recognition of this important and special week, and we're just really happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on up.
There you go.
Do I have to say my name?
So your name?
As mentioned earlier, I'm Sarah Bailey. I'm the Child and Adolescent Coordinator at the Calvert County Local Behavioral Health Authority.
Well, come on, bring your son. You just want.
Is that everybody?
There are others, if they could just come up.
Sure, well, whoever wants to come on up, say your name, come on up.
Hi, I'm Sally. I've been working with the Calvert County Family Network for Chalk the Walk.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Dorsey. I'm the Senior Behavioral Health Coordinator at the Local Behavioral Health Authority.
Good morning, I'm Arian Odom with the Local Care Team.
Good morning, my name is Jayla Jones. I'm the MOUD Coordinator at the Local Behavioral Health Authority.
And I'm Danielle Ruma. I'm the Agency Grant Specialist with the LBHA.
So, this issue is not a cookie cutter issue. And it really doesn't get nowhere near the attention that it should get. We don't have a system in place to handle this. I don't think you can find 3 people that haven't been touched on this on some level. If you've been a parent, you've touched on this level. Even once become adults, mental health, we don't have a place to go with them. Unfortunately, a lot of times they end up in the jail system. Because even then, the officers and the sheriff knows he's always sent them for training. This is a new thing to society. And I think there's so many different factors. But we don't let kids be kids anymore. Every kid has to be a rock star. And if they're not, we're looking at them like, well, what's wrong with you? And when I was a kid, it was great to know nothing as a kid. It really was. No internet, I was talking to a parent the other day, and their kid just like, they didn't know that you needed a key to start a car. They had just got their license, and they gave them a key because it was an older car, and they're looking for a button to push. And we all know what the key is, but they're like, what is this for? Things have changed so much, so fast on kids, and we stand there and we're really like from the Stone Age because we're from, what's wrong with you? Get up, get it done, go, blah, blah, blah. Myself especially, my goodness, my dad did 2 tours of Korea and 1 of Vietnam. Pop never repeated himself, and, it's just, it's really insane how fast technology and society has moved, but yet these kids are still the same kids we were coming up, but they're throwing all this. You heard this discussion we had today, with the school systems. It's really difficult. It really is, and it's just not as simple as it used to be. They just know too much at a young age. They just really do. And so I commend everything you guys are doing. I think we're just scratching the surface of what we need to do. Thank you for everything. And I want to read this for you. This is whereas local child and family serving organizations in partnership with Children's Mental Health Matters a Maryland Public Awareness Campaign, are observing May as Children's Mental Health Awareness Month. And whereas children's mental health is more critical now than ever, mental health affects how children think, feel, and act. Mental health impacts how children relate to themselves and others, manage stress, and cope with adversity. And whereas talking openly about mental health can reduce stigma and encourage those who are suffering to seek help and find a support network. And whereas the Calvert County Public Schools, Calvert Library, Calvert Health, Calvert County Behavioral Health, and local Behavioral Health Advisory Council, in partnership with Calvert County Family Network and the Department of Parks and Recreation, will host a Chalk the Walk event on May 5 through 11, 2024, to raise awareness about children's mental health. And whereas students, school staff, and government employees and all citizens are invited to decorate sidewalks and pavement with messages and pictures of hope, support, resilience, to encourage conversations about mental health and well-being. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the month of May be known as Children's Mental Health Awareness Month in Calvert County. And by this action, we recognize the fundamental necessity of community-based mental health services for children and youth. Be it further proclaimed that all citizens are urged to recognize and support the mental health needs of children in our community, given under our hands and seal the 7th day of May 24, signed by all 5 county commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for what you do.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Sheriff shaking for all of us. The next proclamation is for Stroke Awareness Month. Commissioner Cox.
Dave, you the only one here today, or who do you have with you?
No, I'm not. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Public Safety Director Dave McDowell, and I am here today in support of the Stroke Smart Initiative. And I have a big crew with me in support of this, and I'm going to have them all come up. Some of them are department heads. I have Ms. Erin Farley here from Calvert Health. She wants to make some introductions. And our whole purpose here today is to let everyone know that Calvert County is a stroke smart county, and bring attention to the fact that every 40 seconds, someone suffers a stroke in our country, every 40 seconds. But we have some remedies for that possibly today, and we have some actions that could be taken on the front end to maybe mitigate some of the effects of that. So Erin, do you want to come on up?
I'm actually going to let Crystal go first.
Never mind,
All right.
Crystal's going to go first.
Come on up, Dave.
Good morning. I'm Crystal Gray. I'm the stroke program coordinator at Calvert Health. I'm just going to share some points of stroke. Thank you for this opportunity. When talking about stroke, we say time is brain, and that is so true. Timely access to care can significantly improve stroke outcomes and reduce the risk of long-term disability. As a supporter of Stroke Smart Calvert, we want our community to know that Calvert Health has highly skilled physicians using the best therapies and treatments to ensure the best possible outcomes. Calvert Health is designated as a primary stroke center by the Maryland Institute for Emergency Medical Service Systems, which allows EMS to transport stroke patients to Calvert Health over a non-designated center. In addition, in 2023, Calvert Health Medical Center received the American Heart Association's Get With the Guidelines Stroke Gold Plus Award for the 11th year in a row. Calvert Health is committed to improving care by adhering to the latest treatment guidelines and streamlining processes to ensure timely and proper care for stroke patients. Thank you. I'm going to now hand it over to Erin Farley. She's our manager of community wellness.
Thank you. Come on up front.
Come on up,
Come
Crystal.
on up. Crystal, come on up.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Mackenzie Orange with Calvert Health Medical Center Community Wellness.
Good morning. I'm Erin Farley. I manage the Community Wellness Department for Calvert Health, and I'm in charge of the outreach programs. Becoming a Stroke Smart County demonstrates significant commitment for promoting stroke awareness, prevention, and rapid response within Calvert County. Calvert Health is grateful for the county's commissioner's decision to pursue a Stroke Smart designation and proud to work alongside our community partners such as the Sheriff's Office, Public Safety, EMS, the Health Department, Calvert County Parks and Rec, the Office on Aging, and many other agencies to bring this throughout our community. By working together to raise awareness, promote prevention, and enhance access to care, the community can take significant strides towards reducing the burden of stroke and improving overall public health outcomes. As you may or may not know, stroke is one of the #1 causes of disability in the United States. As a Stroke Smart County, Calvert County can work to ensure that residents have access to high-quality stroke services, including emergency medical response and stroke treatments. Commissioners, as a Stroke Smart County, all of our Community Health Improvement Roundtable community partners will work to ensure the community knows the 3 important things. What is a stroke? Be fast to be able to identify if you're having symptoms or a loved one is having symptoms of stroke. And most importantly, to call 911 and get to us in that important 4.5-hour window. Thank you again, Calvert County government and our commissioners, for making this important initiative a priority in our community. And we have all our community partners with us today.
Thank you.
Hi, Crystal Dow, Public Safety Deputy Director. I just wanted to highlight the Be Fast part of that with our EMS services and getting the patients to the hospital as quickly as possible.
Heather Howes, EMS Specialist for Calvert County.
Christy Owen, Program Manager, Calvert County Office on Aging.
Ken Miller, Division Chief, Career EMS.
Jane Dodds, Community Health Nurse at Calvert County Health Department with the Tobacco Use Prevention and Cessation.
Mika Blizzard Robinson, the Health Equity Supervisor at the Calvert County Health Department.
Come on up. Thank you.
I see you. Is there somebody else that you want to come up?
Bob from Parks and Rec.
Who's hiding? So I was going to go last, but I won't. I'm Mary Galway. I'm one of the directors at Calvert Health, and I oversee community wellness. And I just wanted to say that we also, Maryland is a stroke smart state, and the governor declared a it's a tongue twister, sorry. Stroke Smart Maryland a while ago, and so Calvert County, I'm proud of us for following suit with that. And we were not able to have anybody from our emergency room here today, but our emergency room director sends her regards, and she supports this effort. And I think that's it.
Good morning, Bob Brandon, Director of Parks and Recreation. I'm just proud that our team is able to collaborate with such a wonderful group of people. We felt the impact as recent as last Friday in working together our therapeutic recreation tournament. So, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Real quick, thank you, Commissioners, Sheriff Cox, but Erin Farley, I want to touch on her a little bit. She came to our captain's meeting and given that Be Fast training to all of our deputies is very important to our citizens in identifying stroke. But I just want to say thank you for all you do, not only for us, but our community. I know she has the health fairs that come up, men and women at the hospital as well. And also she comes to the sheriff's office and checks on us all the time as far as our health goes, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. So I just want to thank each and every one of you all for what you do for this terrible awareness of stroke. So just to point out, to be fast, how to spot a stroke, your balance, your eyes, your face, your arms and your legs, your speech, and it's time to call. So without that, I'll read the proclamation, and it goes, whereas Stroke Awareness Month holds national significance, first recognized in 1989 by President George W.H. Bush to raise awareness about stroke and their impact on individuals and communities. And whereas National Stroke Awareness Month provides a platform to advocate for stroke prevention, treatment, rehabilitation, fostering nationwide efforts to improve outcomes and support for stroke survivors. And whereas local recognition of Stroke Awareness Month in Calvert County underscores the need for community involvement in the promoting stroke awareness, acknowledging the vital role of healthcare providers, caregivers and advocacy organization in bolstering efforts to combat strokes. And whereas the Calvert County Board of Commissioners acknowledge the value of Calvert County citizens participating in and supporting the proclaimed Stroke Awareness Month, emphasizing the importance of education, early detection, and access to quality stroke care for all residents. And now be proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners recognize May 2024 as Stroke Awareness Month. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners expresses its commitment to promoting stroke awareness, prevention, and support services for the well-being of all Calvert County residents, given under our hands and seal the 7th day of May 2024. And I just want to say thank you for all you do again. Thank you all so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Tell them I said hi.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Wallace.
I was reading about it, I was telling Mr. Hans, I was reading about it the other day, I saw a guy come in the store who had recently had a stroke. I'm like, this stuff wigs me out, you know, I was reading, yeah.
Thank you. Next proclamation is for Water Safety Month. Commissioner Ireland.
Come on up to the mic, introduce yourselves, tell us briefly about what you do, and come up front after you finish speaking, please.
Right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Amira Sophos, and I'm the Aquatics Coordinator for Calvert County Parks and Recreation Aquatics Division. I am joined by several members of our team, including several of our most dedicated water safety instructors. Their unwavering dedication brings the goals of Water Safety Month to life every month. They ensure that our community is equipped with the knowledge and skills to stay safe in and around the water. As we mark the beginning of National Water Safety Month, it is important to acknowledge that drowning is one of the leading causes of accidental death for children under the age of 5. This statistic serves as a stark reminder of the critical need for awareness and action in our communities. These few weeks of focused attention provide an opportunity to educate, raise awareness, and implement preventative measures that can save lives. It signifies our collective commitment to preventing future tragedies and ensuring that every individual can enjoy our waterways safely. Thank you for recognizing the significance of National Water Safety Month and for your dedication to the safety and well-being of our citizens.
Come on up, introduce yourselves, don't be shy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Zachary Bricky, Aquatics Facility Manager. I just want to say it's a pleasure to be part of the system here. Water safety is obviously of the utmost importance. Not trying to be unbiased, but I think it goes to say, especially with recent conversations we had this morning, investing in the youth is one of the most important things we could do to ensure the quality of our community, and water safety obviously plays a pretty pivotal role in that. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Claire Woolen. I'm the Aquatics Operations Specialist, and I second everything Zach and Amir just said.
I'm Candy Spain. I'm one of the instructors and supervisors with swimming lessons, and I also coach with Calvert Aquatics Club, so we're surrounded by water, so swimming is very important to me in everything that we do. And I always like to say, what you see up here does not represent who we are. We have people from 16 to 72 who are instructors. We have young men, we have young women, we have some older gentlemen also, and it's just a great representative of what we do and how we help the kids in Calvert County learn how to swim, since there is so much water around Calvert County.
And Candy was my swimming lesson instructor. She taught me how to swim.
Did he behave?
My name is Stephanie Dalton. I'm also a WSI, water safety instructor. I've been doing it for about 3 years, started during COVID. I thoroughly enjoy teaching people how to swim. I teach people from age 6 months with their parents, with Miss Candy, and all the way up to 80-some years old. And just them being able to feel comfortable in the water is just an amazing feeling. So I really love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we do live in a county that's surrounded by water. We have bays and rivers and creeks and streams and backyard swimming pools. So it is very important for people to be able to swim. I'm very fortunate to spend a lot of time on the water myself. My biggest fear would be stepping on the boat, hitting my head, and falling overboard and not being able to swim because I can't swim. So it is something very seriously, particularly in the wintertime. I mean, people don't realize we have watermen oystering, and when they get on those boats, a lot of times in the morning, it's icy. I guarantee most everyone on them can swim, but cold water's not your friend, and if you're knocked out, you can't swim. So it is very, very important for people to take the measures to teach their children how to swim. Without further ado, I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas the state of Maryland, Calvert County, Maryland, recognizes that water is an essential resource that sustains life and provides recreational opportunities for our community. And whereas swimming and aquatic-related activities play a vital role in maintaining good physical and mental health while enhancing the quality of life. And whereas every person has a responsibility to be knowledgeable about water safety and take the necessary precautions to prevent water-related accidents. Whereas drowning is a preventable tragedy that affects thousands of individuals and families each year. And whereas Water Safety Month recognizes the ongoing efforts and commitments to educate the public on pool and spa safety issues and initiatives by the pool, spa, water park, recreation, and park industries. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners that May 2024 be observed as Water Safety Month in Calvert County, given under our hands and seal this 7th day of May 2024, signed by your county commissioners.
Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you.
So since Commissioner Grasso is not here, I'm going to take the next proclamation. It's Director Oberg. It's for National Economic Development Week.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioners. My name's Julie Oberg. I'm Director of Economic Development, and Miss Candy taught all 3 of my kids to swim, too. So this week, our team joins hundreds of our counterparts across the country to celebrate National Economic Development Week and the work we do to create and support vibrant and livable communities. We thank you for this opportunity to increase awareness about economic development's contributions to Calvert County by helping us to increase our commercial tax base, generate jobs, retain business, stimulate industrial and commercial growth, and increase visitors to our county. We're marking this celebration today by also celebrating Business Appreciation Week with our partners, stakeholders, and dignitaries to further highlight our commitment to the local business community. Our economic development staff, many of who are here today, have many events planned this week, including ambassador team visits with you all later today to businesses, along with many business anniversary visits, tours, and ribbon cutting events. On behalf of our team, I'd like to thank you very much for your support, and we look forward to celebrating with you in our community. And now I'd like to invite our amazing team to come up and introduce themselves and take a picture with you. Come on up, team.
Kathy McAdams, Business Retention Specialist.
Grace Fadley, Business Programs Assistant.
Ashley Greeley, Special Projects Manager.
Hillary Daly, Tourism Program Specialist.
Caroline Trosbach, Agricultural Development Specialist.
Nicole White, Business Development Specialist.
Sheba Smith, Deputy Director.
So just want to take this opportunity to also thank our amazing team. They do an outstanding job in economic development for Calvert County. And I want to thank all of our businesses out there. And you know, this is National Appreciation Week, but we appreciate our businesses all year long. And that does include our farmers and watermen because they are important businesses in this county. And people talk about their taxes are too high. without the business community in this county, your taxes would really be high. So we greatly appreciate all the tax revenue that we get from our businesses in Calvert County. And being a small county, the small businesses are our bread and butter. So we greatly appreciate those small businesses. So without further ado, I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas the week of May 6th through the 10th, 2024 has been designated National Economic Development Week by the International Economic Development Council, and whereas National Economic Development Week was created to increase awareness of local programs and services that create jobs, advance career development opportunities, and increase quality of life among our communities. And whereas Calvert County's Department of Economic Development promotes economic well-being and standards for our community by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas Calvert County is committed to providing a Department of Economic Development that aids in community and services as a lifeline for businesses, providing local, state, and federal resources to help stimulate the economic growth and viability of our community. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the Board of County Commissioners of Calvert County that the week of May 6th through the 10th, 2024 be known as National Economic Development Week in Calvert County, to remind our community of the important economic development brings to our community, which improves the welfare of all citizens. Be it further proclaimed that our citizens recognize the important role and contributions that economic development organizations provide to build and maintain a robust economy. Given our hands and seals the 7th day of May, 2024, signed by 4 county commissioners. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yes. See ya. Hi. I know, you're on camera.
We'll figure that out. Yeah.
So that brings us to public comment. Mr. County Attorney.
Thank you, sir. The board has adopted rules. They're here to my right. Please follow them. Speakers are asked to identify themselves, and whether you're speaking as an individual or as the designated representative of a group. Anybody who's joined us virtually, press star 9 to raise your hand. Ethics Commission's asked that we remind people at public comment that lobbyists include those who seek to influence public policy, and lobbyists are required to register in advance. Anyone here for public comment, please make your way to the microphone.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Joe Cormier, speaking on behalf of myself today. Thank you for Ms. Turner and the sheriff and the superintendent being on board for this Student Safety Wellness Committee. As your parent member of the Maryland Center for School Safety Subcabinet Advisory Board member, just want to remind everybody about schoolsafety.maryland.gov, and you can always call 1-833-MDB-SAFE, 1-833-632-7233. There's also a web portal and an app to download. This does not replace 911, but it's available to report drug abuse, drug addiction, bullying, harassment, hate speech, violence in schools. It's available 24/7. It's completely anonymous. Maryland Center for School Safety has grants for hate crimes, SROs, drug abuse and addiction, and violence in schools, and they have training for crime prevention, drugs, youth development behaviors, threat assessments, staff training, and the damages of social media and devices for the youth. So please leverage them as you continue to build this out. Please be cognizant of zero tolerance policies. They catch all the fish, and sometimes it puts them in a bad place. Let's make sure we use people-focused language. These aren't bad kids. These are kids with bad behaviors and kids with trauma and kids who are experiencing roughness at home, and they're bringing that to our door. Food insecurity, lack of transportation, utilities, all these things that make trouble at home don't make the kids responsible, respectful, and ready to learn. So let's continue this community focused. I've come up here and talked time and time again, Parks and Rec, the library, the sheriff's office, DPW, all levers of government. We need to focus on getting these kids ready for college and career ready and being in the community. We can expel them, we can suspend them, we can give them a sticker, but it doesn't do anything if we don't give them new training to replace that behavior with something better. So support your ROTCs and your sheriff camps and all these things. We need to instill core values in these kids. So that's where I'm at. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Good morning. My name is Gordon Lamborn, and I'm speaking for myself, Huntingtown. I really wasn't going to say anything today, but I felt compelled to. First, I want to thank you all for approving this advisory committee for the school system. Sheriff Cox and the group, the team is going to be amazing. I think that's a really good step in the right direction. The one thing that really struck me and compelled me to say something is I'm kind of amazed that our superintendent is proud of the fact that we have the third highest rate of arrest in the state of Maryland. I think, in fact, we're higher than Baltimore City. And the number, it was issued by the State Department of Education. 168 arrests, I believe, was the number. To me, that's nothing I would be proud of. You know, we just had the proclamation about the economic development for Calvert County. I guarantee you, and I think he said he was doing an interview in about half an hour. That's a headline I would not want for my county. You know, people look at that and they say, there's a school system failing, falling apart. I don't want to live there. You know, and I know that probably the biggest deciding factor for a family, a business, anyone considering a place to live, to move to, is the school system. The school system is the heart and soul of the community. So here we have the highest, or the third highest rate in the entire state. And we're going to go on the news and tell the world that that's something we are really excited about. I don't know about you, I've been in communications for 42 years, and I've seen people spin things a lot of ways. That's a new one on me. And so I just wanted to get that point across, and hopefully that's not something that will be too much of a problem for certainly this committee and
Thank you, sir.
anybody else
Please
thinking
wrap up.
about moving to Calvert County. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the room?
Good morning. I'd like to publicly thank Commissioner Hans for his assistance in getting my building a permit for my new deck. I'm here this morning because I want to address a zoning code issue. Currently in this county, you're allowed to have 2 junk vehicles parked in your front yard. You're also allowed to use a grocery trailer parked in your backyard as a storage shed. And I would like to see that zoning code changed to disallow all that, and also ask that nobody be allowed to grandfather that code change in so that they can maintain those junk vehicles sitting in their front yard, as my next door neighbor has done so. Thank you very much.
Your name, please.
My name is Gary Pape, and I live in Chesapeake Beach.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the room?
Hi, my name's Lisa Grenis. I live in Owings. I'm speaking as an individual, but in full transparency, I'm also a member of the Board of Education. I'm here this morning to show my appreciation and support for the new Calvert County Student Safety and Wellbeing Advisory Committee. I especially want to thank our Sheriff, Ricky Cox, and each one of our county commissioners for launching this important initiative. As a member of the Board of Education, I know our schools are experiencing serious discipline and safety issues that need immediate attention. Forming an advisory committee is an excellent example of the Sheriff's Department, our county leadership, and the community coming together to make our schools safe. We owe it to our staff, students, and parents who are begging for help. As one teacher recently stated on Facebook, we need an intervention. At our last Board of Ed meeting, I proposed a motion for our superintendent to develop an action plan to address the immediate concerns surrounding Calvert High School. Unfortunately, the motion was voted down. My hope is that this new committee will help us take the necessary actions to fix our schools so we can provide our students with the best learning experience possible. The other thing I'd like to address is we talked a lot about the drugs that are in our schools. In our code of conduct, and I am reading this from our code of conduct, in an attempt to maintain an environment free from drugs, CCPS will work with law enforcement to conduct canine drug scans of school lockers and student vehicles in high school parking lots. These scans will be random, limited in scope, and not targeted any individual or faction. All scans will be monitored by a building administrator. The car scans are being done at the high school level. The locker searches are not. And the reason I was told they are not being done is because students no longer bring books to school, that we use laptops. And I think it's very naive to think that because students are not putting books in a locker does not mean that these lockers are not being used for other illegal activities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the room? Caller last four digits, 9092. Please press star 6 to unmute yourself.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, my name is Michelle Gutierrez, and first and foremost, I just want to thank the commissioners regarding the water bill issue. I was one of the unlucky people that received a bill for $8,000, so I just want to say thank you for addressing that and listening to the people and how things have played out with all that. I really appreciate it. The second thing I wanted to mention again is another thank you to the Sheriff's Department and to the commissioners for taking on this school safety issue. I have a son that attends Calvert High and another one right behind him coming in soon. And, you know, the things we hear about and everything, it's just very exasperating. And my son tells me it's the same group of kids every week. It's the same group of kids over and over and over. So when I hear that, it's just extremely frustrating. And, you know, the point that the superintendent made about other counties and the arrest rates and all of that, I really, to me, it's important, but it's also not important. Like, we are Calvert County. We should be the leaders. We should be doing what we feel is best for our county, basically. But I just wanted to say thank you for taking it on. And again, like Ms. Grenna said, I really think this committee is a great idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the last speaker,
Thank
Mr.
you.
President.
Thank you. That concludes public comment. That brings us to commissioner reports. Commissioner Cox.
I'll make it short and sweet. This weekend's Mother's Day. I hope everybody has a happy and safe Mother's Day. Please take some time off and spend it with your mothers. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Arlen.
Real quick, I met with the Maryland Charter Boat Association, Solomon's Charter Captain, St. Mary's Charter Captains, Delegate Todd Morgan, Senator Bailey, referenced the DNR legislation that was put in place to reduce the rockfish limit to 1 fish per person. They have legitimate concerns. Each one of these is a small business. They aren't booking trips like they normally do, so this is not only going to affect them as a small business, but also play a significant role on our local economy and impact our tourism. There, I got that out. The ribbon cutting at the golf course was wonderful. Post-legislative breakfast, we heard from our delegation in Annapolis as to changes and challenges made in Annapolis. The Calvert Olympics at Calvert High School, went by there, and it was good to see so many smiling faces. It was great to see the sheriff's office. Ricky had an overwhelming presence there in support of these children. May the 4th Brain Cancer Awareness 5K at Horseman Farm. Rain held off. Cindy Horseman was well represented. Just want to thank Ricky Hill again. I want to thank Sheriff Cox for making school safety a priority. He said he was going to do it, and he's done exactly that. And welcome Rowan James Craddy to our family.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hart.
Just want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Commissioner Grasso is still on.
Oh, Commissioner Grasso, you have a report? Or not?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. No, I don't have anything to report, but I want to congratulate Commissioner Ireland on his latest grandchild. And I want to wish you all a good week with our business trip. And also happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you. You have a good time.
Thank you.
Enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much.
So I too want to thank Dr. Townsell, Board Member Grennis, and Board Member Post for joining us this morning. I can assure you this is not an undertaking that we wanted to do, but felt necessary to do. And I can also assure you it's going to be a cooperative effort, but we've heard enough that we felt like something had to be done. So we're going to get our schools back in line is the goal.
Yes.
Also want to recognize it's National Teachers Week. Thank you for that, for all of our teachers and what they do. It's Economic Development Week. Want to thank all of our small businesses for what they do for our community, providing jobs and providing services to our citizens. And please support your local businesses. It's vitally important. I attended a bunch of events last week, but we're already at 36 minutes behind schedule somewhere we're supposed to be. So I will end with Happy Mother's Day for everyone.
Happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Someone have a motion for me?
Yes, sir.
Next agenda.
Move to adjourn.
Next agenda.
Do we have? No?
Catherine, you're not here, and the
I
place
know, it's
just
all
goes
thrown
to
off.
pot.
Move to next agenda item, sir.
Second.
Oh, there
Have
we
a
go.
motion and a second that we move on to our next agenda item for today. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Everyone have a great day, and again, Happy Mother's Day.